Just want to finish on a couple things. 10 years from now, what's Michael Franzese doing? Like, what is it? Are you going to be back in London for another tour? Is your YouTube channel going to hit 10 million subscribers by then? Are you going to have more movies coming out? But what do you think you're doing 10 years from now if everything goes the way you want it to?
Well, listen, I've been very, very fortunate, blessed that the brand is, it's becoming bigger. And a lot of people around me now are approaching me with different opportunities. And I'm selective. I love my host here. I love being in London, honestly. And I've recently met with a group of people that Kaz has introduced me to from Sterling Global. They have a big PR company, but they're more than that. I don't know if I should say PR, they're more than that. And I think a relationship we're striking it up, which would bring me here more.
Great.
They're doing this television series on my life. They now have a stage play based upon my life that they have booked in 23 venues next year. They're actually coming over, meeting here to bring it to the United Kingdom also. It's a whole different thing. It's a musical kind of stage play based upon me and my wife. So we got a lot of things going on. Of course, I got the book. I'm looking to, be honest with you, spend more time at home with my family, my wife, get to travel. I'm 70. You're going to be 51. I'm going to be 71 at the end of this month.
I couldn't believe you were that
Yeah,
old.
so I feel great. Don't get me wrong. We have good genes. My dad died at 103, so we got good DNA. Hopefully that works for me. But, my legacy is this. What do you want to be known as? I want to be known as a good family man. I've screwed up at times, but I want to be known as a good family man. And I want people to say it was a benefit meeting him. He had a positive impact on my life. He was a good guy. Anything more than that, what else can you ask for, Brian, really? When you're gone, and hopefully we move on to paradise, but you want people to have a good impression of you when you're gone.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I always finish with a few final questions, Michael. I'll ask you right now. If you could pick up a phone and call up the 20-year-old Michael Franzese and give that young man a little bit of advice. I guess maybe you were kind of doing the pre-med thing here. Maybe you haven't gotten into the life. But if you had to give him some advice, or maybe the 25-year-old, what would you tell him? Would he listen, first of all, and what would you tell him?
I don't know if he would listen. I would tell him 100% stay off the street. Don't get involved in that life. Do the right thing in your life. Better to give than receive. I would absolutely tell him that. The benefits, the feeling are so much better. Be a giver in your life. I've noticed people that are takers, they're never happy. Never happy. Selfishness is a very bad trait, Brian. Even if it's not meant to, if you're just a selfish person, it's a bad trait. Because then it's always you first, everybody else second. Life doesn't work well that way. So be a good giver of people. Do the right thing. And treat people the right way. That's the best advice you can give, because it comes back to you. It really does.
Yeah. Second part of that question, best advice you ever received. If there's one statement, it could have come from your dad, maybe someone else in the mafia, maybe from the Lord, I don't know. But is there one piece that just resonates your mind as the best advice you've received?
The best advice I've ever received was really from Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding, because I've learned in life we don't have all the answers. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. When I finally heeded that advice, my life took a different direction. When it really meant something to me. I'm not all about that. I don't have all the answers. If God really created this universe, we have to trust him, and he'll make your path straight. And give him the credit that he deserves. Honor him the right way. And not only directly, but honor him through your life, the way you treat people, the way you abide by your life. And he'll make your path straight. And if your paths are straight, you're going the right way.
Right.
That was the best advice I ever received, and that was from the Lord.
That's good advice. And part of that is saying, by definition, you don't know where to go always. With your limited means and understanding, you think you know what to do, but you'll never really know. You have to trust and realize that you're seeing everything through your lens and your short-term needs and your ego, and so you're letting it over and saying, okay, follow this path.
Absolutely, because Brian, in that jail cell, I had no answers. I said, I'm done, I'm finished, I'm history, it's over. But I didn't realize God was putting this plan in place for me. It's his plan in our life. We all have a talent or a purpose. And you know what I tell people? You don't have to have a mob story. You don't have to be the President of the United States. Your purpose in life could be to bring one person into the kingdom. And if that's your purpose and you fulfill it, you're on equal ground with everybody. That's the wonderful thing about, about this life. You don't have to be the biggest guy in the world.
Yeah, I used to teach a broadcasting course to people, and get very hard to get them uncomfortable in putting that first video out and that first piece of audio. And I used to say, there's somebody right now in Kansas City, Missouri, with all the drapes down, that's literally days away in a dark, dark place. And what if your video gave them a little bit of hope for the day?
That's right.
And the reason you're stopping that from doing that is because you're worried about what other people think of you, and you're worried about people going to say. Well, what if that one thing could just put a light on someone somewhere in the world and just give them a little bit more?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, I never thought of it that way. And it's just like, okay, just try to share that one thing. Try to share that one thing. And that will get you where you need to go. And with these amazing technology networks, it's actually possible these days. Like you said,
absolutely.
Just be you, express what you can, add your vision to the world, and literally watch it help people change their lives.
That's right.
And don't let your own egoic thing stop you. Because
you let it fly. Look, you don't know who you're reaching out to. You don't know. Different people. Look, so many times a person will come into a church or a venue that I'm in, not always a church, corporate thing, wherever I am. Michael, I didn't even know you were going to be here today. But God, I needed to hear that. I needed that. I'm struggling. I'm having a rough time. I really needed to hear that. They didn't even know where they were going.
Yeah.
So, and what a feeling that is, right? Brian, it's wow, you impacted this life in the right way. I have so many people telling me that, people that I don't know, I didn't even know they heard me, but it's a blessing.
Last part of that question, to that 20-year-old that's out there listening to us or watching us anywhere in the world right now, who's struggling, struggling with issues, struggling with substances, struggling with mindset, struggling with trying to understand what the right thing to do is with the world, being tempted by that life, being tempted by those easy wins on the street. Advice to them, like if they're listening, they're obviously thinking, okay, maybe I better change my game. Maybe I better entertain a new idea. What do you tell them?
Well, listen, I speak to these young gangbangers all the time, and I tell them straight out, I say, I don't know who else is going to be honest with you, but I'm telling you, you stay on the street, you continue in crime, it's a dead-end street. You're going to end up in a bad place, whether it be a grave or a jail, and it's going to continue throughout your life. And it's fascinating, not fascinating, it's terrible actually. Meet guys in their 50s and 60s, spent 17, 18, 21 years in jail, no family at home. They'll come to me, Michael, well, look what I did to my life. Because when you're young, you feel, but all of a sudden, 10 years, 20, 30, 40, all of a sudden you're 50, 60 years old. So what did I do with my life? And it's so hard that they destroyed their whole lives. One sometimes bad mistake you make could make the difference. One decision that you make that's the wrong way could lead to disaster for the rest of your life. That's why you got to be so careful. So I tell these young ones, stay on the right track. Be a leader, not a follower. Don't mean you have to lead people. You got to lead yourself in the right direction. Play it straight. It's the only way. Because, Brian, this life is tough enough when everything is good. Everything is great. It's going on. Boom, cancer. Boom, accident. The roof falls in. Tornadoes, your house goes. And you're doing the right thing, right? Everything is good. This is life. When you make bad decisions and you do wrong things and you put more baggage on your shoulders to carry around for the rest, you're killing yourself. So you got to tell them, this is a tough life to navigate, even when you're doing the right thing. So make it easier by doing the right thing. And don't let anybody tell you any different.